Greg, it's like there's always a 3-game week somewhere for you guys. You start another one with 2 rivalry games. Start with San Jose. What do you expect? What have you seen? Coaching change maybe affects their effort a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of unpredictability coming after a change. It's too bad. Luch is a friend, and it's too bad, but it's the game. With Ian stepping up, you just don't know. There's not a ton of time to make changes, even if you wanted to. But at the same time, their group is their group. So we just, you don't know what the emotional bounce may or may not be. You just don't know any of that. I think we really have to focus on ourselves, and we've been in good form and good rhythm, and making sure that we continue to do the things that have helped us to be successful through this stretch. And focus on us, and whatever they decide to come out with, we've got to be prepared to manage that and take advantage of the opportunities that we have in the game.
What is it, the game being at Stanford, sort of add to the mix?
Yeah, just going to Stanford, the fan base is dynamic. Usually they do a pretty good job of filling up that space. We've been there a couple of times now. The field could be good, it could be not so good. You just don't really know, because it's not their home stadium and they don't control any of that. So the surface, we'll see when we get there. But it certainly feels like a bigger game, just because you're in a bigger stadium, more people. The energy in the stadium picks up a lot. So it does feel a little bit different, and a little bit more like a big game than maybe all the games are big against them, but a little bit bigger maybe in that stadium.
Status of Ricky coming into this week?
Ricky's good. He's trained full this week, so he'll be available for the match.
Anything else for Charles? Charles Bohm?
Yeah, Greg, can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Great, thank you. I know you have to focus on the Quakes in the short term, but I'm looking at writing a piece looking ahead to the Trafico, and I'm trying to get insight as to how you guys handle Bouanga and the threat that he poses, and especially with you having been a fullback in your day. I'm wondering how what your perspective is and how you've tried to prepare your team for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, first and foremost is we tend to have our fair share of possession in those games. It's not like we're having to defend him a lot in the set moments. It's more of the transitional moments is where I feel like he is by far the most dangerous. So again, I mean, in our possessions, we've got to make sure that we're secure as we can be with the ball, that we can't just lose balls in bad places, and we've got to make sure that we're positionally disciplined, and that we have players who are always taking account of specifically him, but any of their guys who can break out in transition, I think their greatest strength is in that phase of the play, of the game. So we've got to be able to have the right guys in the right place to manage transitions, try to slow him down or to keep him to the outside. It's easier said than done, as we know, with him, because he's such a direct player and he's so shifty to be able to kind of fake like he's going to go wide and get back to the inside, or he's so dynamic that it's easier said than done. But we've got to do a good job of just staying, again, organized, minimize our exposures, and making sure that collectively we can deal with it, slow him down even at times, and try to get help over to where he's at. So he's not the only threat, but he certainly is a guy that drives a lot of things for them on those moments. We've got to deal with him because he's been hot for sure. So and I think we've got to take advantage of the chances that we can create and using the ball in a wise way. And when we can't, we've got to make sure we put them into set attacks as much as possible, that we can't allow them to just blow out in transitions over and over again. If the transition takes place, we've got to make sure that we can slow it down, stop it, make them go into a set attack. I think they're a much different team when they're having to create their own moments versus using them in the transition. So we've got to use all of our resources in that phase of the game to make sure that we're staying in control.
In that sense, it seems like Yamane has brought a lot of intelligence and discipline to that position.
Yeah, on that right side, he's been very, very mindful of what phase of the game is going on at any given time and what his positioning needs to be. His game reading is very astute. He's mature, and he understands going into games the threats. So he'll understand going into the game against a Bouanga what the threat is there, and he'll adapt within the game and make his own decisions. But he certainly brings a level of maturity and just understanding to the situation that is important no matter what.
Thank you so much, Greg.
You got it.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for your time. I'm not sure if you answered it earlier. The call kind of cut out a bit, but any updates on Gaston and his fitness heading into this week, and maybe Johnny as well?
Gaston and Johnny won't be ready for this weekend. So both are kind of making progress and going through through the steps they need to go through. Ricky trained. Everybody else is healthy.
Yeah, and then I think one of the players in this streak that you guys are on that's been really key has been Edwin Cerrillo. I know you kind of mentioned him in the last game, but just how are you seeing him just develop within your system? Since it's almost been a year now since you guys acquired him from Dallas.
Yeah, I think, listen, when we saw Eddie in Dallas, and I'd seen him a lot, and before bringing him, we like his game because he likes to keep the game simple. He likes to defend. He plays his role. He wants to keep the game moving fast. He's getting the ball to other players where they need it, when they need it. He's never trying to complicate anything. So I think inside of that, he really fits kind of the ideas and the system that we have. And for us, it's just been working on details with him, his body organization, showing up to things at the right time and with the right body shape. Being able to connect with sometimes a second pivot, because a lot of times at Dallas he was just playing as a single pivot, and so now working in collaboration with somebody else next to him is something that he's done. And the other thing we've been really working on him with is just the defensive reading and recognizing where, especially in transitions and different moments where dangers come out. He's a really good athlete, and he covers ground, and he's a powerful kid, and so again, just trying to continue to move him forward in some of the details has really been what we've been trying to do with him. And when he's been sharp, even at the beginning of the year when he came out of preseason, I thought he had a really good start to the season. He was really sharp. And then as Gaston came back, his time started to get a little bit mixed, and I felt like he lost a little bit of his rhythm, but he's gained it back now that he's been playing regularly, and you're seeing some of those details show up again as he continues to get sharper and sharper. And so he's an eager learner, and he's a great kid, and like I said, just the tools that he have really, they fit with our group, because we got other guys that we want to get on the ball early that can do some things, and he helps facilitate that for us, and then he gives us some athleticism in the transition moments as well.
Thank you, Greg.
You got it.
All right, thanks for your
Good.
time, Greg.
All right, thanks everyone.